Well, it's the beautiful time of the year in the spring when all the trees and bushes and everything are in bloom. I really love this time of year. Love this driveway. Too bad it's not mine. But I admire it so much I told myself, catch a picture of it this spring. But anyway, back at my house, what I'm trying to do is get ready for the springtime. I think I want to rearrange everything out here, but first of all, let's inspect my Hypertufa containers and see how they fared over the winter. Now this is a bowl that's several years old, I think, and it's planted with the Sedum Immergrunchen, one of my favorites. It is budding. I don't know if you can see the little buds on some of these, but it'll be a bright, sunshiny yellow soon. Real intense yellow, but it grows, stays evergreen all year, even during the winter time through the snow, but blooms really brightly in the early springtime and then sporadically over the summer. A really nice plant, grows vigorously. I love it. Suppresses weeds. Just plunk a little spot down into the ground and you've got another plant. Now this particular pot, I have a link to my blog post in the description below, so if you'd like, go over to the blog. This is the wildfire, the Sedum wildfire. It's deciduous, it dies back, and you can see all the little strands of it that died back over the winter time here in the cold in Ohio. But look at it coming back this spring. It has such pretty colors, green, yellow, pinks, peach, oranges. And its Hypertufa pot is several years old, but it's holding up real well, still has nice, strong, sturdy sides. Now this one is another one. I think it has a buff coloring in it, which gives it a slightly brownish tint, especially in the veins. It's another deciduous plant, the blue elf, the Sedum blue elf. I think it's a sun sparkler variety, as is that other one, the wildfire. But all those strands just die out over the winter time. It looks really decrepit, and then boom, all the little blue and pink and violet shades just start popping through in the springtime. I think it's a really pretty plant. It blooms in late summer with really crimson, hot pink or reddish blooms. This one particular pot is one made from beach sand, and it has held up real well, real heavy, but that's what you do when you use sand. Now this is my Hypertufa aircrete type thing that I made. I think that was last summer, I can't remember, but it's held up real well. It's sempervivum that I put in it. Just, they're glowing in the morning light. The sun's just coming up, and they're kind of glowing. They just look so pretty. That green tips on each of those little petals looks really nice. And they're getting very big. Weren't quite this size last summer, but they are spreading nicely, and I love it. The pot is still in great shape over a good winter. Now this is a pot that I think I treated with iron oxide, kind of painted the iron oxide on it after the pot cured and everything and was ready to sit. But I'm pretty sure these were the same sempervivum that I put in, hens and chicks, the hardy variety. These have been outside in the snow and ice all winter long, and they look wonderful. They've come back really, really nice. They stay beautiful all winter. They don't die back. Neither do these in this pot. This one has a lot of the, can't remember if I painted it with iron oxide or it has the buff coloring in the Hypertufa mix. But it looks really good. You can see it shows up on the side, but not so much in the top portion. But this one has the little sempervivum. I think these are the ones that are the tend to be more called rollers. They make the little balls that will kind of roll off from the mother plant, and grow that way. But I like them because they're tiny, and they've spread quite a bit. And of course, if you remember from the blog post or maybe a previous video, this particular Hypertufa pot with the brown coloring on the outside has my sea thrift in it. I just love the way that has gone this spring. It's just blooming. It's been blooming for several weeks now. It's kind of in the stages where the little lollipops are all popped out in their little nosegay. If I can get close enough and get focused, you can see the tiny little individual flowers all pressed together in kind of a nosegay. Real pretty. I love that. It looks so cute. And once these die down, I can cut off the little stems, and I have a cute little cushion there. I really love it. It's a pretty, pretty plant. One of my favorites. When I see it for sale again this spring, I'm going to get a lot more. But the pot's in good shape. Couldn't ask for better. And those sempervivum are really getting big. Hardy, outside all winter in the snow and ice. Now this particular large Hypertufa bowl has the Sedum emigrantium in it, but it has that mysterious crumbling. I, several years ago, had some pots that crumbled like this over the winter. Now that's an old pot. It's not fresh, newly cured, anything like that. It's an older pot. This is probably its third year, if not longer. The emigrantium is nice and vigorous in it, growing real well, and I love the porous nature of this particular pot. But for whatever reason, it crumbles. If you have any ideas, let me know. Now, over here on another table is some of my succulents have fallen into this pot, but I have a Campanula planted in this one. The little coral carpet, and I think that's the Sedum acre there in the middle, or sexangulaire, could be that, but the Campanula is the Carpatica, and it has blue flowers on it all summer long. So it's deciduous, dies back to the ground, not deciduous, herbivorous, herbaceous, and dies to the ground every year, but comes back in the spring. And with that pot above it, it's been there, I think, for the last couple years, and those little things fall down into it, and then they start to grow. But once you've got this, you've got it all the time. Now that was from a cereal bowl. I've got to figure out something to pot up in it this year. And this is an old basket. I have some old videos where I did this basket, but it's still holding up. You can see where it's weathered a lot, but still in good shape. And this is my little, on little 4 feet cube Hypertufa. I just love it. And I also have the Campanula Carpatica here, a different variety. I'm not sure if this was the one called Blue Clips, but it's coming back this year, and I fully expect it to fill this pot just like it did last year. There's the little insert, but it looks real good outside all winter long. Just make sure it's elevated, it drains well, and your plants will stay alive. Got a lot more pots lining the foundation. You can see that there. Maybe I'll make a close-up film of those. But now across the deck, you remember my nursery pot where I trim and transplant over and over and over. If I clear this out, planting other pots, I just throw another piece in there and it just multiplies. This is one of those it's a resin pot, but it's like a half barrel, and I just throw it in there as a nursery pot. These are, again, the same time that's just about to bloom. Looks really good. I'll have to film that when it's in bloom so you can really get a good look. Can't remember if I've got films of it in bloom or not. And I'll be doing a separate film on my Opuntia cactus. I am severely wishing for blooms this year. I didn't get any at all last year, and I keep a watch on those little pegs that come out. So far they just look like little stickers, so don't know if I'm going to have blooms this year, but they did come in the spring, like in June, so I'll keep an eye out for that. And then across the deck, a lot of more pots over here, big round ones. They're old and they are holding up real well. Real orangey color from the Sedum Angelina. That's a clematis in a pot with some Angelina. And then of course some Sempervivum with more of the Sedum Emigrantium. I think I may pull the obelisk out of there and prop up the clematis with something a little different. Now this one is a well-weathered pot. It's held up in the weather in the Ohio winters, ice and snow, below freezing. We're zone 6. I have elfin thyme in that. I want more of that if I can find it. It's a little bit hard to find, but I'm going to hunt for that because I'd like to have a lot in some more dishes. Has little tiny purple flowers on it. It just grows, and that little cushion feels so stiff and so hard you can practically tick it like a crystal shell or crystal dish. Love this color. I don't know their varieties. I see them for sale a lot in the summer. They look like big gigantic Sempervivum when you see them for sale. And I hop on those every time because they are the best growers. Look how they multiply. I just love them. And they're the regular Sempervivum. They just get thicker and thicker in the pot. I'll probably have to pull and thin some of these out because this one's just running out of room. But look at that. I love it. Makes a beautiful, beautiful arrangement. But I'm gonna probably rearrange everything out here. Got to shake it up a little, make things look a little different. I've got garden bed edging to do. So I've got a lot of work ahead of me before I start bringing my pots out and populating this deck. But I'll get to that. But thanks for joining me. I will have a video next time of bringing some of the winter houseplants out because they can spend the summer outside on the deck. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next video. Bye-bye.